One day, a group of kids decides at a young age to pick up a pack of cigarettes because it's the cool thing to do. However, none of them understand the long-term effects or even the short-term effects it would have on their lives. Later down the line, these kids are adults now, all grown up, and they're in and out of the hospital because they have cancer. Research leads me to believe that we should cut down on smoking, if not make it illegal. 1 out of 5 teens in the United States smokes, which is an overwhelming number. More disturbing is 17% of them start smoking in 9th grade. 26% of them are smoking by senior year. There's been a decrease since like the 70s and 80s. It used to be in like 32-34% area, but there still needs to be an even greater percentage of decrease. I think parents should talk to the kids and discourage them from smoking at a young age, this way to limit addiction and limit the pitfalls of smoking. I'd like you guys to keep an open mind as I discuss the main problem associated with smoking and some of my solutions that I believe will help the main problem. 45.3 million people in the United States alone smoke. That's 19.3% of the total population that live in the United States, and this culminates to almost 500,000 deaths from smoking alone. Out of the total number of deaths a year, this is 1/5 of the deaths are from smoking. As previously stated, the amount of teens smoking decreased, but that's still an overwhelming amount of deaths, and it shouldn't be 500,000 from smoking, certainly, when you don't have to. The main problem with smoking is death, of course, usually when you contract cancer, and it is a majority of percentage is lung cancer. The Center for Disease and Control Prevention reported that 90% of all smokers get lung cancer, and 15 to 30% chance increase if you smoke. But of course you can get other forms of cancer from smoking, because it can metastasize or it can start somewhere else, like the mouth or the nose, because you're breathing in the smoke. You can also get larynx cancer, esophagus cancer, bladder, kidney, pancreas, cervix, and stomach cancer. As well as the deaths that encompass smoking are more than HIV, illegal drug use, alcohol consumption, motor vehicle, suicides, or murders committed all combined in a year. There's an increased risk of getting cancer for people that start young, because that 15 to 30% risk is always heightened, even like from kids that are starting in 9th grade, which is really bad. The causes to smoking are peer pressure being the most prevalent. I mean, usually there's a group of kids, one of them smoking, and other ones don't know like what it is or how it feels, and the guy will be like, he doesn't want to smoke alone. He'll be like, have a smoke, it'll make you feel good, and they'll be like, oh, okay, and then they'll start smoking, they'll get addicted, and they'll think it's a cool thing to do, so they won't really bother. And the second cause to smoking is usually engineered towards girls. They'll smoke to maintain their weight or to lose weight because they're obsessed with their image, and in this culture, image is a big thing. And they don't see anything wrong with that. And many teens across the United States are always going to be obsessed with their image or how their friends perceive them or how they want to fit in with a certain crowd. Like kids drink, they want to fit in with those groups, they'll drink as well. And they don't really realize the danger it has to their health and how it affects them. And usually they'll just try to justify it. The justification is, it's only one cigarette, I'm going to stop after this, it's only been a week, it won't be that hard. But the next day you'll just see them continue smoking, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know what happened, man, or whatever. My solution to smoking would be to educate young kids nowadays so they can limit the pitfalls and not get addicted beforehand, preferably if parents were to talk to them, and just let them know that you don't tell them what could happen, what comes about of having cancer, the treatments and stuff like that, and they don't want that for their kids, and to belittle the image of smoking, because it's not really the cool thing to do. I mean, you don't want to have your clothes smelling of smoke and going into a house, or having people say, ew, you smell like smoke, you smoke. Everybody's probably gotten that in like middle school, and they'll be like, oh no, my parents smoke. Smoking shouldn't be used as a vice to comfort anybody or to escape from anything. It's a negative and can seriously impact your health, and it's my sincerest hope that my speech will remain prevalent in your minds, and that you'll hopefully educate your children or other kids that you see falling into smoking. Does anyone have any questions? Yeah.
How do you feel about, I've noticed in like Looney Tunes cartoons and things like that, they always make the bad guy the smoker. They'll have like a cigar or a cigarette just for the bad guy. What effect do you think that has on kids?
I don't know. I think usually like when people see like an action movie or something, like the bad guy is obviously supposed to be like, you know, badass, and I think that's to do with smoking because, you know, like think they're cool, you know, they'll walk around like you see in like, I don't know, you'll see in like old movies, they'll be like the guys smoking, but they'll think they're cool, they'll drive a nice car, they'll have a leather jacket, it's all part of the image.
That's true.
It's also part of the time era, I think.
Yeah.
Besides educating children, don't the shop owners sell the cigarettes to the children? Shouldn't they be educated?
They certainly are educated from the laws. As a friend who has friends that smoke, I know that they go to the shop owners and they obviously know the laws because there's some people that don't sell cigarettes to them and there's some that do. And usually they don't get caught. The police don't really monitor that sort of thing heavily. It's basically on the shop owners, but most of them are just looking to make money and they're aware of that, but they really don't care.
Then wouldn't that want to be another safety measure to actually, the government's looking to actually ban smoking the way it's trying to do, to actually look into making sure that the drug sellers...
Certainly it'd be a lot easier if they were to like monitor the people that dispense the cigarettes to the young kids, like convenience stores and stuff, but I don't know how they would do that appropriately. Because I mean, I feel like they could easily sell them to people. That's why I feel like it has to be more on the parents' end, or just like the kids' knowledge that they don't want to not be able to run a mile, or or decrease their longevity. Yes. I stated before because my grandmother ended up with cancer from only smoking a few times, and that really impacted me. She was a big person in my life. And then I just don't like when my mom smokes because I don't want her to end up like that because I really love my mom. And then I don't like walking to a house that's full of smoke.